is talking about Lincoln Riley and the disastrous season USC had going into the Big Ten. The Big Ten was supposed to be USC's time to shine, to show that, hey, the Pac 12 powerhouse can enter into another conference and dominate. They showed exactly the opposite under Lincoln Riley. And I must say, with Lincoln Riley, this is a guy who was at Oklahoma, didn't bring any championships, had two Heisman quarterbacks. And I'm sorry, if one guy's winning and the team is losing, that's not a victory. Unless you have championships to support those players that are winning Heisman's, it's not a win. And when it gets into USC football and you're watching it, it seems like they're playing backyard football. They're not looking like a team that's organized. Once you look at a team like Alabama, Notre Dame, Ohio State, when it gets to the playoff or to a championship game, it looks like Ohio State is playing with professional players. These guys play in sync. They play to win. They have the discipline and they have a formatted scheme of run and then pass. With Lincoln Riley, it's I need another Heisman quarterback. Let me have him pass for us to win, which then leaves your defense on the field for the duration of the game, getting tired, making mistakes. And our defense wasn't well disciplined anyway. And we didn't have the people up front to actually put pressure on the quarterback. There were a lot of flaws in USC football, and there will continue to be flaws at USC football until either Lincoln Riley is gone or they bring in people who actually know what they're doing when it comes to, defensive lines and offensive lines. And if you ask me, and I know people would probably say, get out of here, they need to go find Ed Orgeron and bring him in, because from the stories of under the Carroll regime, Ed Orgeron was a good recruiter, and he motivated players to play. Even if you bring him in just to run the line or to just run just the defense itself, Ed Orgeron understands how to win defensively. You may not like the controversies that come along, but those are his personal issues. He's not flaunting them in front of anyone. Matter of fact, you haven't heard anything from him since then, his time at LSU. Right now, I believe he's just retired. I don't think he's coaching anywhere, but they need to give him a call to bring him in to say, hey, bring us back to where our days of glory so we can actually be feared on the field instead of having people, basically, have their way with their defense. And right now, the fans, since this Las Vegas Bowl, and it was a win. It was lackluster. They pulled it out the end on a team that you should have easily defeated. You're talking about USC's legacy, USC's history of winning and dominance, and have Lincoln Riley have them play like this is the second coming of Oklahoma football, which is no defense, a lot of fast offense, and a tired defense that gives up the game in the last few minutes. Right now, you have fans who are giving him the blues. With this Trojan Wire story, USC fans destroy Lincoln Riley for awful clock management in the Las Vegas Bowl. And it's pretty sad when your fans are saying, hey, coach, you stink. And this guy got a large amount of money to be the head coach, and he's not producing. You have people making less than Lincoln Riley who are producing, and they're throwing people into the NFL, and they're developing these players to be prepared on the next level. And if they're saying he's in the hot seat, but right now, I don't think he is. I think because of the money, he's not on the hot seat. And I think the president of the school who brought Lincoln Riley in, it's her fault. You should never give a man unproven, who hasn't even produced for you, a large contract that you just can't get rid of him. It's okay if you give him a house and you do all the other things. You can probably give the guy a car, but you don't give a guy a contract that you can't buy out. And this is silly. This story reads, Lincoln Riley, who is squarely on the hot seat entering 2025 at USC football, has a lot on his plate. He has to figure out if Jaden Maeva should be his QB1 next season, or he needs to get a starter in the transfer portal. No one's coming to USC, man. You don't have a defense. Why would anyone want to jump into the portal and to come to SC? Matter of fact, Lincoln Riley, as it's reported, isn't even recruiting kids in California. As reported, they said Alabama has more players than USC on their team. Basically, Lincoln Riley is doing a crap job of impressing California kids. And California is the best venue to play and to live in because you are surrounded by celebrities. You have the exposure. You're at a big name school, and you're going to get NIL money. If you can't get NIL money at USC, something's wrong with you. If you're a big name player, you're going to shine. But they don't want to come here because USC is flopping in front of these kids. When you talk to a kid, he says, hey, man, I want to win a championship. I want to have people respect us. And Lincoln Riley is not respected. This guy coaches, I'm like, he can't coach a championship game. He could probably give you a good game against Fresno State, but he's not going to give you a good game against Ohio State. We are all groaning in agony here at USC because we never got to see Caleb Williams play offense on the same team that DeAnton Lynn as defensive coordinator. He's slightly better, to be honest. A Caleb Williams, DeAnton Lynn combination would have likely won at least 9 games. If that's the gold standard of winning 9 or 10 games, then the standard at USC is doomed. You're not going to win anything. You're not going to get butts in the seats if people know you're just playing for second place. We never got to see that. USC football would have been saved if Lynn was in town 1 year ago. No, it wouldn't have. Alas, Riley didn't make the move early enough. He kept his defensive coordinator on, and we flopped that year too. This season, there was no Caleb to save the offense, and Caleb really didn't save the offense, which faltered under Miller Moss and Maeva, while the defense, ravaged by injuries, played as well as it realistically could. You know, the problem with these stories is that you have people who hate USC, and I'm just going to be absolutely honest. You have people who hate USC, and why would you say that? Well, you know what? We had Clay Helton. Clay Helton was a flop, and no one in the media, ESPN or any of these little writing morons, none of them said, hey, it's time for USC to get a new coach to bring them back to glory. No one said that. They said, oh, no, just give them another year. They knew we were losing. Well, they knew we looked like clowns on the field. But they said, no, let them stay. But Ryan Day at Ohio State loses 2 games. They're saying, oh, yeah, he should be fired. You have people on ESPN saying, oh, he needs to lose his job because he lost to Michigan. They've only lost to Michigan twice in the last 3 years. But they're saying Ryan Day should be fired. Outright. At the end of that Michigan game, they were saying he needs to be fired. A guy who has taken Ohio State to championships, that has dominated the Big Ten. They're saying, oh, he should be fired. Lincoln Riley hasn't dominated anyone. And they're saying, oh, just give him more time. Clay Helton didn't dominate anyone. He was Coach Hugs. They were like, oh, just give him more time. Time for what? To make us look bad, to ruin our reputation, to take us out of any running for a championship or a conference championship? That's basically, people are out to sabotage USC. USC is on an island by itself. And if the fans, the alumni, the institution want to save itself, it needs to start giving people incentive to win. And there needs to be standards that these coaches have to meet to continue to be paid. And when it comes to NIL, the game is different. I know probably coaches don't want to deal with these kids who are getting paid. Sometimes they're getting paid more than the coaches. But the simple fact of the matter is, unless you change the way NIL is structured, it's going to kill. It's going to destroy college football. You have kids getting paid to play, which means that the cost of a ticket to see a college football game is going through the roof. These kids play, but when it comes down to the end of the season, they say, oh, I don't want to play. I'm going to get myself ready for the NFL. The fans are still buying the tickets. They bought a ticket with the hopes of seeing a team that they've seen all year, not a second string, third string team at the end of the year in a bowl game. It's a bait and switch. To enter into NIL means you need to be responsible. That means you're going to play. If you're getting paid, you're going to play. And the NFL needs to support college football by saying, hey, if you don't play, we're going to bump you to the third round and your money will be reduced. You may get on a team, but you're not going to make any money. So you may as well just play in the game and support and respect and support the fans who have supported you the whole season. This whole idea of, oh, well, I don't want to get hurt. You may get hurt walking, from the stadium to your car. You may injure yourself walking on campus. You may get shot in your neighborhood. You may get hurt first week of the combine. You may get hurt first week of practice. So all this, oh, shoulda, coulda, woulda, I'm sorry. When it comes to people spending their money, you need to respect the fans, because without the fans, there is no player. It'd be a bunch of hoodlums walking around saying, hey, I can run a ball. Hey, I can shoot a ball. Hey, I can hit a ball. And I'm sorry, we have these these overly privileged kids who feel entitled that just because I can throw a ball or catch a ball or run a ball, that the fans don't matter. The fans do matter, because let the stadium become empty, you won't have anyone to play for. Let the teams go bankrupt, you won't have anywhere to go. So I'm sick of this making excuses for kids making stupid decisions. Play the damn game. That's why you're there. And the fans are there because they pay to see you. They expect a good product. They don't expect bait and switch when it comes to a bowl game. These coaches need to have a spine and tell these kids, well, if you opt out, we're going to basically destroy your ability to make money on the next level. And they should be able to do that. It's because if you don't respect the fans on the college level, how are you going to respect the fans on a professional level? It's called being mature. It's called being an adult. It's called saying it's good business. And if you don't understand what business is, well, maybe you should have taken that course instead of getting a communications degree. And on that note, this is your boy Ace Capone. And until next time, peace. And I'm gone.